Hey teacher friends, thanks for stopping by our Teacher Pay Teacher store. My name's Jason, I'm with Algebra Help Desk. Here's our slide deck for the introduction of laws of exponents. This is quite an extensive product. There's 65 slides here and it covers all of the laws of exponents. So you'd be hard pressed to use this in one classroom, but the way we've developed it is it should be easy for you to break it up into multiple classes. So let's just look at it. So we start off with our learning objectives. We're going to review back to PEMDAS. We're going to give them a couple of questions here. Are the answers the same? Why or why not? So we're building off and reminding kids about PEMDAS. So we work through some examples. Here we just ask, is there an easier way to work this problem? 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, 5 times. And then we do the same thing with 5 times 5, 5 times. So one is 5 times 5, and of course this one would be 5 to the 5th power. Next we move into what's an exponent? How does it work? We explain the terminology. We talk about the base, the power. We give them a chance to practice. This could be a think, pair, share, small group, or if you upload this to your learning management, they could do it interactively. And then now we're just going to just give them a minute to think about what we've learned. Some processing time here. And then we're going to tell them what they learned. We're moving on to the next example. We've got standard form versus expanded form. When I'm first teaching this to kids, I like to give them the standard form, have them write it out. And expanded form, I find that helps them, visualize it, helps them make sense of it. And then we talk about reading exponents. So we have a few slides here, very colorful slides. Helps catch their attention. Now, here's your turn. You can print this off, hand it out to them. They can work on it on paper. Or once again, you load it up your learning management software. The choice is yours. And the good thing about our products, so we use Google to create them. So they're easy to edit. You just click, right? Yeah, click and type. Just that easy. Super easy to edit. And some people, they'll buy this just for the template, right? Because the template here is going to save you a tremendous amount of time. But now we got variables with exponents. We're going to go through some discussion. This could be whole class, think, pair, share, shoulder partner, just whatever you're comfortable doing. And now we do variables in expanded forms, and we want kids to think of variables just as numbers, right? Values. So I like to introduce them as soon as I can, just to help kids get comfortable. So that's all we're doing here. Now we're putting them together into this binomial. Once again, I find when we expose this to students, the sooner the better, because when we actually start working with problems and simplifying problems that are, in this case, a binomial, there's not as much cognitive dissonance. So we're trying to prevent that and trying to keep kids, feeling good about math. Practice time, once again, you print it off, put it on your Google Classroom or whatever learning management software. They'll just type in the answer. And then there's an exit slip. So this could be one lesson. It might be 2 lessons because there's a lot of slides here, a lot of discussions. And now we go into the 7 laws of exponents. I've had years to where I could do this in like 1 or 2 lessons. I've had other years where it would take like 3 weeks, right? And they still don't get it. I should say some of them still don't get it, but the laws of exponents can be confusing. So we kept that in mind. So we have a lot of discussion because the more kids talk about math, the more they understand it. So before we start, who gets the exponent? And I like to bring this out because sometimes kids will want to give that 4 to that 3, and it's not. So the little tip is sometimes I would have them write a 1, 3 to the 1st power and to the 4th power, and just have that discussion. If you don't see an exponent, it's just understood to be 1. Just like if you don't see a coefficient, it's understood to be 1. I don't think you can talk about that stuff too much. Now we have the product rule, little explanation, and then we show it with the variable. We're going to talk about how many different ways you can express this. Here's a couple of more slides. How does your work compare? So we got a lot of compare and contrast, a lot of opportunities for discussion. We're moving on to the product rule. Same kind of format, same pattern. And we're just clicking on it. Feel free to pause the video so you can look at it. I want you to know what you're getting. I mean, you're a teacher. I'm a teacher, and money's hard to come by. So before you buy a product here on Teacher Pay Teacher, you want to make sure it's useful. So this is what we're doing here. There's a little recap. I like to recap. Typically, I like to, do the public speaking model. Tell them what we're going to learn, talk about it, and then tell them what we learned again. More recaps. There's some questions, and here we're introducing inverse operations, because when we get to solving equations, we don't want any surprises, and we want kids to be familiar with the terminology. Another question. Now we go into the quotient rule. We're visualizing. We're having them cancel out, right? Cross out. Give them a chance to practice, and more quotient rules. Any non-zero raised to the power of 0 is 1. I pick a few things each year that I make sure the kids know absolutely, and this is it. They always get that right on all the standardized tests. There's a zero product rule again. More information, a lot of colors, and negative exponents. We recap it. I don't use a lot of graphics on the backgrounds because I may want to print it off for notes. I want it to be clear for the students. But once again, you can always go to on the background, just change the background, right? Once you buy it, it's yours. You can do what you want. So we have 65 slides. We cover all 7 laws of exponents. There's warm-ups, there's recaps, there's exit tickets, there's everything that you need. If you have any questions, let me know.